Now I'll deal with this post-seventh independence development, mostly seventh government, very important. Actually, the present seventh third actually passed in Part 9 of the Constitution deals with seventh government, and Part 9A of the Constitution deals with 74th with municipalities. Part 73rd Amendment deals with panchayats, exclusively panchayats. 74th exclusively municipalities, that is urban governments. But we are concentrating on the panchayats this session. Part 9 of the Constitution, that's called as the Constitution in bracket 73rd Amendment Act 1992. Deals with panchayats. It has articles from Article 243A to Article 243O. Came into effect from April 24th, 1993. Almost 33 years are over, which is a milestone in the history of local government in India. For the first time, I think these institutions, local body institutions, both urban and rural, they become integral part of our constitution. As we say now, as a result of seventh government, we have federal government. With that, we have central government at the central level, state government at the state level, and local government at the local level. So they all three form the integral part of our polity nowadays. Instead of through the 73rd, I think for the first time again, these institutions, Jilla Panchayat, Taluk, given constitutional status. That means they are permanent institutions in the constitution. No party can change them. Only thing they can be amendments. That is important of 73rd. So let us see some features of this 73rd. First, it talks about structure. If you, while presenting this, you also remember the theoretical component I talked in the beginning. That is a political perspective, administrative perspective, and economic perspective. ರಾಜಕೀಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನ ಆಳ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನ ಮತ್ತು ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನ ಮೂರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ you can easily understand this present 73rd Amendment. That means the 73rd can be easily articulated within the theoretical framework of decentralization. Let me see the first article 243A. It's called as Constitution of Gram Sabha. That's very, very important, which should be convened in a calendar year once in 6 months. That is, at least 2 meetings in a year should be held at the village level once in 6 months. Generally, they used to hold it on Gandhi Jayanti, October 2, Independence Day, detail like that. Minimum 2 meetings. You can have a good number of meetings, no restriction, but at least 2 meetings should be held in a calendar year. It is Gram Sabha. Why Gram Sabha? Very important. If you recollect vision, the vision should be the people's participation of Gram. So only in the Gram Sabha only, there is a direct participation of people in the governance. They don't participate at the taluk level, Jilla level, assembly level, parliament level. But only at the village level through Gram Sabha, people who have voting rights, that is, people who are registered as voters, they become the members of Gram Sabha. So they should attend Gram Sabha, discuss about their village problems. Very important. That's why we call the Gram Sabha also the soul of the system, Atma. So as long as this soul functions well, then only the decentralized governance also functions well. If there is no people's participation, so there is no meaning of decentralized governance in the context. That is the first important provision of that's why they given very first provision of this 73rd is Constitution of Gram Sabha at the village level. The second feature is that Constitution of Panchayats. You go back to the public choice theory again now, where we said that the multiple governments, similarly, if the multiple marketings are there, similarly, if your multiple governments are there, they can satisfy the people's demands. They can also provide good services. So, as per this section, Article 240B, there's need to all state governments needs to constitute panchayats at the village, intermediate, that is taluk level, and district level. So they are called 3-tier system of Panchayat Raj. So now we have a system at the
ಫೋನ್
state.
ಹಚ್ಚಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಮಾತ್ರ ಭಯನ ಬೈತಿರತ್ತೀರಿ ನೀವು.
Somebody should mute it. Please mute.
ಹಲೋ
Hello. Hello. Article 243B talks constitution, that is to 3-tier system Panchayat. Panchayat at the village level, intermediate, that is the block level or taluk level, and district level, middle level. So we call 3-tier system Panchayat. So there is also a rider in the 73rd with regard to the states having less than 20 lakh population. They did not constitute a taluk panchayat, that is block panchayat, that is intermediate. They may not be constituted in a state having a population not exceed 20 lakhs. In fact, at the time of 73rd, the Goa state had this less than 20 lakh population. Even today in Goa, we do not have block panchayats in the Goa state. We have only Jilla panchayats and Taluk panchayats. So the fact of the matter is that throughout the country, all the state governments, wherever this population is more than 20 lakhs, they need to constitute 3-tier Panchayat Raj, that is Jilla Panchayats at the district level, Taluk Panchayats at the Taluk level, and village Panchayats at the village level. That is the constitutional mandatory. It's mandatory. I just give some status now, based on July 25, latest status now. We have 28 states and 8 union territories. 682 Jilla Parishad Panchayats we have in the country, 682. And we have 6,839 Taluk Panchayats. And in Gram Panchayats, we have 2,55,616 Gram Panchayats in the country. You see that voluminous kind of. Jilla level, we have 682 institutions. And you go back to the political perspective, where we said that they need to create political institutions. So we have created now Jilla Panchayat through 73rd, Taluk Panchayat 689, and Gram Panchayat 2,55,616. The ratio between the Panchayat member and the population is 1:340. In Karnataka, 1:4. In Karnataka, we have 31 Jilla Panchayats, we have 243 Taluk Panchayats, and we have 5,953 Gram Panchayats. That is ratio between population and the ward member in Karnataka is 1:400. At the Taluk level, we have 10,000. At Jilla Panchayat level, we have 40,000. It varies from state to state. For instance, in UP, the ratio is 1 to 900, like that, 1,000 population. So the size varies between the panchayats and them. So some variations in the structure also. In 3 states, like Goa, Sikkim, and Manipur, you have 2 types of panchayat. In one tier, we have also one tier system, that is only Mizoram and Nagaland. We have village councils. They are called village panchayats, are called village councils. In Uttaranchal, we have village panchayats and Nyaya panchayats. And Meghalaya and Manipur, we have district councils. They have only one tier system. They don't have, in Mizoram, they don't have Taluk panchayat and Jilla panchayat. In Meghalaya and Manipur, they don't have village panchayats and Taluk panchayat, only district councils. There is also a part that nothing in this part of Article 243M, that is called as scheduled areas, will not apply to states. This 73 will not apply to these states like Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram, hill areas of Manipur, and hill areas of the district of Darjeeling. They have Darjeeling Gorkha Council. So they are independent of this panchayat actually. So even in states of wherever these tribal states are there, we have PISA, the extension of scheduled areas. Like we have in 10 states, we have this PISA Act also, which gives a lot of powers to Gram Sabha in that. So in 21 states now, we have 3 tests of Panchayat Raj. In Delhi, there is no Panchayat Raj even today, in New Delhi. Even Pondicherry also, they are trying to constitute, they are yet to become institutions. So we have different nomenclatures, naming of these panchayats. For instance, Jilla Panchayat as District Planning and Development Boards, Jammu Kashmir. That means Jilla Panchayat is called as District Planning and Development Boards in Jammu Kashmir. Taluk Panchayat as Kshetra Panchayat in Uttar Pradesh, Anchal Samiti in Arunachal Pradesh, Janapad Panchayat, that is Taluk Panchayat level, Janapad Panchayat in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, and Panchayat unions in Tamil Nadu. So there are different nomenclatures for in Karnataka we have Taluk Panchayat. Whereas in Jammu Kashmir, the Gram Panchayat is called as Halka Panchayat. HALQA, Halka Panchayat in Jammu Kashmir. Whereas in other states we call Gram Panchayat, village Panchayat like that. I already mentioned Karnataka's Panchayat status. Then comes Article 240C, the third feature of this code. So you remember the political perspective that the members of the institution should be directly elected by the people. So very clearly in the 73rd, it says that all the seats, that means the seats of Jilla Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, should be filled by persons chosen by direct election for the territorial constituencies of the given, that is district, taluk, village. The ratio between population and number of seats should be the same throughout the panchayat area, that is ratio 1:500. This is on average at the all India level, but it varies across states. In Karnataka, as I mentioned, Gram Panchayat 1:400, 1:10,000, and Taluk Panchayat, Jilla Panchayat 1:40,000 population. That means the members should be elected directly by people. There is no nomination actually. So no member nominated at the Jilla Panchayat level, Taluk Panchayat level, and Gram Panchayat. All members are directly elected by the people in any panchayat, whether it's Gram Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat, or Jilla Panchayat. The chairpersons of Gram Panchayat, that is presidents of Gram Panchayat, are have membership in Taluk Panchayat. In Karnataka, every year there will be 1/5 of Adhyakshas of Gram Panchayat on rotation. They become members of Taluk Panchayat. And similarly, the chairpersons of Taluk Panchayat, that means the Adhyakshas of Taluk Panchayat, are members in Jilla Panchayat. These, especially the Taluk Panchayat and Jilla Panchayat, they are representation from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that is MPs, MLAs, and MSCs. MPs, MLAs, and MSCs have no right to vote in electing presidents and vice presidents of GPs and TPs. They have no powers. They can only attend meetings, participate, but they have no powers to elect Adhyaksha of the Jilla Panchayati or Gram Panchayat. That means no nominated members either of GP, TP. The interesting part of this structure is that there is a link between Gram Panchayati, Taluk Panchayati, Jilla Panchayati, then Jilla district planning. Is only, I think, 7th provides that link. Earlier it was not there, actually. We always compare the earlier system of Panchayat Raj. If somebody is doing research on the evolution of India, you need to have this idea that the institutional linkage is very well integrated, established under the 73rd with Gram Panchayat Adhyakshas of members of Taluk Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat Adhyaksha Taluk Panchayat members of Jilla Panchayat. The Jilla Panchayati, Taluk Panchayat members have some share in district planning committees. When it comes to reservation, that's a very important provision 73rd. Why I'm telling is that reservation is very, very important. Prior to the 70th amendment in the India, whether Karnataka, Andhra, West Bengal, anywhere, so there was no reservation for women. Actually. So the first time, actually, if I give an example of Karnataka, prior to 7th amendment, the members of the institutions are from the dominant communities of the state. Like if you take South Karnataka, like Asana, Mandya, Tumkuru, like this, the majority of members are from the Vakkaliga community, the dominant community in the country. Similarly, in Andhra Pradesh, Reddis, Kamas, like that. In charts like that, in Punjab, Bihar, like that. Then that's what. In North Karnataka, the members majority are from the Lingais. When I did my PhD, my dose, out of 15 Gram Panchayat members, 13 used to be the Lingais or Vakaligas. One scheduled caste, one woman member nominated. That's all. So now, as a result of that, the leadership was emerging from these two dominant communities in the country. The benefits of the development were always shared by among these communities, leadership benefits. So since men, women, OBC, SC members are not in the decision making. They could not get any proper benefits. Now, with 73rd, so the reservation has helped these people to be the members of these bodies and to be the part of decision making process. So for SC/ST, as per the 73rd, the reservation should be in proportion to their population. If your state has got 30% population ST, they should provide 30% SC. Even if it has 60%, they should provide 60%. It's very clear, mandatory. The reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes should be in proportion to their population. Very, very important. For other backward classes, it is optional. That is for the respective state governments. If they feel that reservation should be given to the OBCs, I think they can provide. In Karnataka, you provide reservation for OBCs. In Kerala, even West Bengal, even Andhra also, they give reservation to OBC. But it's optional. It is not mandatory on the part of state governments to provide reservation to OBC. But so almost state governments, they try to provide reservation to this OBC because of Mandal Commission. For women, it's very important. For women, less than 1/3 of the total seats. That means 33%. 1/3 of the total seats of the panchayats at all the levels, the Gram Panchayat level, Taluk Panchayat level, and Jilla Panchayat level. The 1/3 of the total seats should be reserved for women. So it is 33%. It comes to 33%. In for further, out of this 33%, 1/3, you have to further make a reservation. That is called reservation within reservation. Further, they have to make reservation for 1/3 is to SC/ST and general. For OBC optional, but in Karnataka you have provided 1/3 to SC/ST, 1/3 to OBC, 1/3 to general. Together put 1/3 again. Now, for recent developments in 20 states in India, they have reserved provided reservation up to 50%. If somebody asks questions in the competitive exams, you should be very clear. Should be as per 73rd, it is only still 1/3. But some states have gone for 50% of reservation to women. I'll be surprised to know that the first state to bring 50% is Bihar state. When Rabdi Devi was the chief minister of the state, she introduced for the first time in the country the 50% reservation to women panchayats. Karnataka, Andhra, other states followed. Now, almost 20 states and have reserved 50% to reservation to women. So, if you compare this pre-73rd, so there was no place for women on the panchayat sector. Only during Ashok Mehta committee report, they suggested 25% for women. But unfortunately, none of the states except West Bengal and Karnataka, no other state implemented Ashok Mehta committee. I will just give example of Karnataka. During Karnataka, 25%. I give one example of Bangalore Rural Parishad those days. We had 9 women members. Out of 9 women members, 8 members will belong to dominant communities, 1 member scheduled caste. Now, with this new reservation, we have reservation to SC/ST, you have reservation to OBC, you also general. If you go to any Gram Panchayat, for example, there are 6 women members are there. Out of 50%, 2 SC, there will be 2 OBC, there will be 2 general. It's very clear. If you go to Karnataka, any Gram Panchayat, they also one advantage women reservation because if the number is odd, for instance, the number is 9, 11, 50, 70, 19, 21, 23, they have the advantage of having more number because if you divide 11, it becomes 5.5. So they cannot make 50% women. So they make it 0.1, so it becomes 6 members. So if there are 11 members in Gram Panchayati, there will be 6 women members and 5 men. As a result of that, their number has gone up in the panchayats. Even for chairpersons like Adhyaksha, Upadhyasha, they have to follow similar reservation. For Karnataka, I'll give an example. Karnataka, you have 31 Jilla Panchayats are there. If elections take place, the 16 Jilla Panchayats will be headed by the women Adhyakshas and 16 Jilla Panchayats will be headed by the women Upadhyakshas. So that's the reservation they have to follow. In terms of membership in panchayats, all India level, we have 32.29 lakh members are there in the country, all the states. elect totally elected members, that is including Gram Panchayat, Taluk, Jilla Panchayat, we have around 32.29 lakh members. Of that, women members constitute 15.03 lakh. That is almost 46.6%. So as per the 73rd, it is only one third. They have crossed that one third now. In Karnataka, they have got almost 53% in Karnataka because of this one number. That means the result of reservation, I think, the members coming from these groups of society, SC, ST, women, OBC, so they have the representation. So now they have the place to demand, they have the place to participate decision making and also take the benefits from the government that's given. This is a reservation, I think, very important part of 73 reservation to follow. When it comes to the term of the Gram Panchayats, so I already mentioned in the beginning, earlier, pre-73rd base also, there is to be no elections, no uniformity in the constitution. Now, as a result of 73rd, now 5 years from the date of first meeting of Gram Panchayat, Taluk and Jilla Panchayat, and elections need to be constituted once in 5 years, that is before expiry, and a period of 6 months from the date of. Unfortunately, some states, even including Karnataka, they are not holding elections as per the 70th. Take example of Taluk and Jilla Karnataka. There are no elections for the last 3.5 years. So state that in the name of revising the reservation list and delimitation of constituencies, they take undue advantage of postponing elections to do. Even if they have gone to Supreme Court, the Supreme Court has directed that the state must hold elections to municipalities and Garu Jilla Panchayats. But as per the amendment, I think it is mandatory for the state government to hold elections to these bodies, like they hold elections for MLA, state assembly, and parliament. That's a agreement. This is very important provision of the 73rd. It's called Article 243G. This question is also being asked in IAS exam, state level exams also. Very important for you person. Why? Because there are two or three aspects. As a result of Article 243G, the amendment recognizes these institutions, that is Jilla Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, to function as institutions of self-government. It is not institution, government. See, there is the words local self-government comes here. The real government, like central government, state government, the local body is also their government. That's why they're called local government institutions. So the amendment recognizes constitutionally that the local bodies, whether rural or urban, they are institutions of self-government, Article 240. So as a result of this recognition, the amendment also gives two responsibilities. That means, that is what we are talking, autonomy, independence. The preparation of plans for economic development and social justice. So that means all these institutions, PRIs, must prepare plans at their own levels. They should prepare plans based on the Gram Sabha meetings, WhatsApp meetings, standing committees. So they should prepare plans for economic development and social justice. That means economic development in terms of having school, education, school buildings, hospital, all those things, infrastructure. But the important part, social justice. The amendment says the benefits of this development must be distributed accordingly to all the section of society. That means every section of society must enjoy the benefits. For instance, if we get 10 houses in Gram Panchayati, now we have members drawn from SC, ST, men, OBC. The 10 houses should be given to the different community society. Prior to that, it was to be taken away by the dominant communities. Now it is not possible. Many panchayats I have seen personally. I have done a lot of work on this institution. So they said there is assertiveness in them. People assert, sir, the president, you must give it to us, that kind of thing. The demanding is there. The demand culture has developed in many panchayats, in even Karnataka also, especially the southern part of Karnataka, demanding the benefits of development. That gives us justice. If all communities enjoy the benefits of development, that ensures justice amongst community. That's all. So for this purpose, there is 11 schedule is there in the constitution. It has got 29 development functions. Actually. But one of the weakness of the problems of 240G is that when it comes to the question of giving powers to this panchayat, they use the word may. There are two English words in the 73rd. One is shall, another is may. For instance, this reservation. State shall reserve, they say. State shall constitute gram sabhas. But when it comes to giving more powers, planning powers, it says state may devolve powers. May, they use the word. That means may or may not. So state may use the devolved powers, whether they use or not is the researchable question. So as per our knowledge, based on our lot of studies available, many state, most state governments in the India, they're reluctant to give powers to these panchayats. For instance, out of 29 subjects, I think, Karnataka has given some 21, 22. Gram Panchayats only 6. Taluk Panchayats some 21. Like that. In UP, almost 16, 12 functions only. Even Kerala also, then they had to give all 29. I think because of this word may, I think the autonomy of this panchayats are in question now. So since there are no powers to prepare, they prepare. But again, these land departments, they come in the way of that. That means all these 20 functions, actually, as per the program, they should prepare plans and implement. But they lack this powers, actually. That's the most rather unfortunate development in the local administration. These are the development functions. Your core functions like drinking water, road, culvert, all programs are put in the 29 actually. For urban, we have 18 functions. For Panchayat, 20 functions. You see rural electrification, health and education, maintenance of community assets, welfare function like rural housing, education, including primary, secondary schools, technical training, all these things. Adult and non-formal education, women and child development, we including even the handicapped, mentally retarded people, welfare of weaker section, SC, STs, public PDS, all given to panchayats. Like development, agriculture and electricity, agriculture, minor irrigation, animal husbandry, all are given to panchayats. Social forestry, small scale industries, cotton industries, all given to them. So these 29 functions actually are found in the I mentioned a link document in Jilla Panchayats. It tells about how many functions are given to this institution. A lot of studies are done in India that is called devolution index. Actually. As per the devolution, we have I'll tell you more about in the following slides actually. But as of now, all these developed functions are not totally devolved to panchayats. That is the one point you must note that. As that is because of that, it has given more powers to leverage to state governments when it comes to the question of giving more powers. Someone asked in the morning that autonomy, that means higher governments, I think they like state governments or central government, reluctant to give more powers to these institutions. That point we should understand. They are given, but not sufficient. There is no 100% devolution powers in education. So there are you have to note down that these functions are there is a lot of variation among the states in giving powers to functions to panchayats. Still, they don't have confidence. Next article is 243K, that is State Election Commission. I think all the state governments must constitute State Election Commission. That is appointed by the commissioner, by the governor of the state. He's in charge of superintendent, direction, and control preparation of the elections. So, but this commission, although constitutionally created by the amendment, but it does not exercise full independent powers when it comes to the question of holding elections. Because the election commissioner, he's from the state service, state cadre. So he's not from central government. Maybe IAS officer will be there, but is controlled again by state government. He only exercises powers in terms of requesting state government or going to the court also to vote election. But the point here is that you must note down, in spite of negatives that I think, there is a constitutional body like State Election Commission, which takes care of holding elections to This Jilla Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, and even municipal institution, the corporation, municipal office. So that is one point because which was not there. In pre-73, there was no state election commission was there for the local bodies. Now, we exclusively we have a body called State Election Commission, which looks after holding elections once in a 5 years to these both rural and urban local bodies. When it comes to finances, actually, this article 240H, it gives powers to levy, collect, and appropriate taxes, duties, tolls, fees. But in practice now, only Gram Panchayats have the powers. Some UP government has some given to powers to even Jilla Panchayat also, but majority of the state governments have given powers to Gram Panchayats to levy taxes and also collect them. Generally, property house tax, the popular tax actually, but unfortunately, the tax collection rate is very, very low at the national level, state level. It's almost 1% or 2%. That is called own resources of the panchayats. In Karnataka, it's only 32% of taxes collected at the Gram Panchayat level. Because there are two reasons for that. Why the people don't pay taxes? Because they always look for the whether the working of Gram Panchayat. For instance, if they are not getting water properly, if there is no drain not clean, they refuse to give taxes. We will not pay you unlimited wages. So the collection of taxes at the Gram Panchayat level is not very satisfactory, even at the national level, even at the respective state levels. As a result of that, someone mentioned in the morning, the grants in aid from the government, it flows. So this is given by both the Central Finance Commission and State Finance Commission. So as per the 73rd, the state government must constitute State Finance Commission to review the financial positions panchayat. At present in Karnataka, we have fifth state finance is going on. Sri Narayan Swamy was a former president of Jilla Parishad, also MP. He is the chairperson of the State Finance Commission with 3 members. So with this also, there is no uniformity in the state government. All state governments constitute. Some state governments can't. I think by this time they should have constituted 6 state finance commission. Only Kerala has constituted 6 finance commission. Karnataka 5th. Andhra is only 4th. I think like that. Some states only 3rd, 2nd, like that. So those state governments have taken very seriously with regard to the constitution of State Finance Commission. Another problem that they have is that even State Finance Commission makes some recommendation. They are not mandatory on the part of state government. In Karnataka itself, I think only the first State Finance Commission state accepted recommendation. The second, fourth, they did not accept at all. So they are not mandatory. So you have to note down this that State Finance Commission they have powers to review, but when it comes to the recommendations, it is left to the state governments whether to accept them or not. That's it. This is another important article of the 73rd. This is not 73rd Amendment. They are District Planning Committee. They come under 74th Amendment. That's the two reasons. Because this District Planning Committee has the responsibility of preparing a concerted plan for both panchayats and municipalities. They prepare a plan for the entire district. For example, somebody mentioned Gulbarga, Kalburgi district. So this district planning committee prepares a plan based on the plans submitted by the panchayats and municipalities. So they prepare a concerted plan together and give it to the state government. So this is very important institution, district planning committees. Another again problem that they are not taken very seriously. District planning committees. They are only the suggestions are not very mandatory, not very much, though a very important institution. I think district planning committees are well. There's another issue with district planning committee. Who should be the chairperson of district planning committee? For instance, Kerala, the Adhyaksha of the president of Jilla Panchayati will be the chairperson of the district planning committee. In Karnataka, we don't have. Earlier, we had that president. Now, the district minister in charge of the district, like for instance, Kalburgi mentioned, the Priyanka Kharge will be the chairperson of the district planning committee. So that is Karnataka. So in some states, that is also not there. So there is no uniformity. But what it says that the logic, the moral part of this is that The DPC should be headed by the president of the Jilla Parishad. But they also argue that since the minister can integrate both urban and rural, so it's better to have a minister, cabinet minister as a district in charge than Adhyaksha being the. But Kerala, they strictly follow that the Adhyaksha of the Jilla Panchayati is the chairperson of the district planning committee. That's very, very important. So this planning committee has also a responsibility of preparing a draft development plan for the entire district as a whole, draft only. So, the suggestions, recommendations of TPC are not mandatory. And even suggestions given by the Jilla Panchayati municipalities, the TPC has no power to change them. They can only give suggestions, adjust. Otherwise, they have to prepare the plan as sent by the panchayats and municipality. That's kind of. So the chairperson will forward this draft plan to state government, which will be part of the budget or state plan process. That's. But another point is that the district planning committee, they are not functional. They are not functional in most states actually. In Karnataka, due to no elections for Jilla Panchayati, district planning committees are not constituted. That's what. So since there are majority are from Karnataka, I was asked to tell about Karnataka Panchayat Act 1983, which is there. Very big one. It's called as, earlier it used to be only Karnataka and Panchayat Act, State Panchayat Act. Now it is, they added Gram Swaraj. Rather of Gandhian concept, they wanted to use this Gram Swaraj. In 2016, Ramesh Kumar Samiti was constituted. They renamed the Karnataka Act as Karnataka Gram Swaraj and Panchayat Act 1983. This is the title of the act. So this act got is a three-tier system. It has got some 19 chapters and 321 sections. So the Jilla Panchayati, Taluk Panchayati, Gram Panchayati must function as per the provisions of this act. It's very interesting to see the preamble of the act. As I talked about people's participation, it emphasizes greater participation of people. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್ ರಾಜ್ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. That is very, very important. Preamble of the act is, it gives importance to participation of the people. ಜನರು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಬೇಕು. ಎರಡನೇದು, the second one is effective implementation of rural development programs. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನ, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ದಕ್ಷತೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿ ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. That means you also encourage people's participation. You also want the programs to be effective. The third very important is that to function as units of Gram Swaraj at local sector. So Act emphasizes, Act ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್, ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಳೀಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಬಲ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಏನ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 3 types of ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸಭಾಸ್. One we call habitation sabhas, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಸತಿ ಸಭಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, where the population is only, the households are 20 households will be there. There will be habitation sabhas. Then follow ward sabhas. Andre, if there are 10 members of Gram Panchayati, that means 10 ward members are. In each ward, the ward member should hold a ward sub meeting. And for that meeting, he or she will be the chairperson of Sabha. Then comes Sabhas, Gram Sabhas. Sabhas at the Gram Panchayat level, they should this is mainly to resonate with the voice of the real sovereign. And the ಜನರ ಒಂದು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಧ್ವನಿನ ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು 3 ಸಭೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ. It is called as units of grams, habitation sabhas, ward sabhas and gram sabhas. Just to realize the dream of Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Gram Swaraj. So this provision has been created in that. But interestingly, we have 2 more gram sabhas. We have Mahila sabhas in Karnataka, and the women meetings, and we also Makkala sabhas, that is children sabhas also. They're very interesting. Recently, I did a study for Government of Karnataka. I studied some 40 gram panchayats in Karnataka, covering the entire state actually. I submitted the report, is accepted also. I just give the function of Mahila Sabhas and Makkal Sabhas and Gram Sabhas. See, Grama Sabhas again, they are not taken very seriously because again they become a recommendatory bodies. But recently, it has been amended in Karnataka that Gram Sabhas have given powers to prepare the list of beneficiaries and also finalize them. That means now Gram Sabha has powers to to select beneficiaries of state programs, central programs are there. So that list is final. So no MLA or MP or MSc or department change the list. So that's the first time. So Grama Sabhas have given some power. Otherwise, Grama Sabhas in most states actually, they are recommendatory bodies. They only recommend this. But as per coming to the beneficiary selection, earlier what is to happen in Karnataka? If Gram Sabha prepares a list of beneficiary, the MLAs used to change the list. Now that cannot happen in Karnataka, it is final. Similarly, we have PISA Gram Sabha, I mentioned, no? In some 10 states of the country, we have PISA, that means extension of Panchayat scheduled areas, that is tribal Gram Sabhas. So they are given the full powers to Gram Sabha there. That means nothing can happen in the tribal area without the approval of the Gram Sabha. So actually, we have been arguing through articles, through discussion, that the Gram Sabhas of this Panchayat should be given some mandatory powers so that the recommendations made by Gram Sabha will become mandatory on the Panchayat function. So that one. So if it comes to Mahila Sabhas, Makkal Sabhas, very interesting actually. In one of the Makkala Gram Sabhas in Udupi district was participating, one girl student, high school student, asked the president of the Gram Panchayat and BO and the block education officer to she complained about the English teacher. She told the meeting that madam, that BO was a madam, this teacher doesn't know proper English. She cannot speak correct English. So please transfer her. Openly she asked. I was there in the meeting. We were all shocked actually. I think, see, this taking Gram Sabha, institutions, Mahila Sabha, Makkala Sabha, into the framework of discussion. I think women have their own problems actually at village level. Drinking water or so on. So they can highlight. So that's why Karnataka has made a unique experiment that we need to have addition to Gram Sabhas, we need to have Mahila Sabhas, Makkala Sabha. They are functioning very well. For instance, the Makkala Sabhas will start from November 14th. That is the birth anniversary of Jawaharlal Nehru. So this Makkala Sabha will wait till January, February. So the schools, actually the president of the Gram Panchayati will hold this meeting where the children of the schools, they attend meetings and discuss their problem. So for instance, they don't have playground. I like that. They have their own demands. Actually. So that kind of. In addition to that, in Karnataka, you have SC/ST grievance committees at GP level. SC/ST grievance committee is there at GP level. So they exclusively discuss about the problems compared to SC/ST. Why? Because I'm telling you, Karnataka, the almost 25% of the budget should be reserved for SC/ST development in Karnataka. That's a very important provision that we have. There is also Panchayat Jamabandi. It happens from October to September, October. It is called social auditing. Here, people themselves audit the functioning of panchayats. So that means in the meeting, I done a evaluation study for Karnataka. The people come there to attend meeting where the previous year's discussions will take place. The amount spent by Gram Panchayati on road, on toilets, people can question them. So here it's called social auditing. So in Karnataka, we have a separate directorate, the social auditing. The slogan of this directorate, our money, our right, and our responsibility. Very important. They say it's our money. It's also our right to spend that money. And also we have our responsibility in spending that money. So that kind of auditing is there. It is mainly to increase the transparency and accountability through people's participation. In fact, in Karnataka, the social audit reports are discussed in Gram Sabha meetings. People will know what's happening at Gram Panchayat level, Taluk Panchayat level. That's very important. So based on the 11th schedule of this amendment, We have three schedules. Schedule 1 talks about Gram Panchayat function. Schedule 2 talks about Taluk Panchayat function. Schedule 3 talks about Jilla Panchayat functions. The 29 function that I discussed, they become part of this schedule 1, 2, 3. In addition to this, there are some important sections in the Act. That one is section 232A, the Commissionerate of Panchayat Raj. Actually, the new institution created by the state government when the Ramesh Kumar's committee suggested that there is a commissioner office in Majestic area, where earlier rural Jilla Parishad was there. This commissionerate office monitors the functioning of panchayats at Jilla Taluk level. So actually, I am part of a committee now working on the work pressure of PDOs. That's the commissionerate. We have also in Andhra Pradesh, we have commissionerate office. The new body, in addition to the Department of Rural Panchayat Raj, we have Commissionerate of Panchayat Karnataka now, as of now. Interestingly, in the Act it says that there should be a separate service for Karnataka Panchayats, actually. Like we have KPSC, Karnataka Public Service Commission. So there is an argument. Also, there's a provision act that so there is need to create a separate service for the panchayats. Why? Because most of the officers they come on deputation to panchayats. For instance, the CEO, he will be from a different department. The executive officer of the Taluk Panchayat will be forest department or article department. They don't have any knowledge about panchayat development. Only at the Gram Panchayat level, you have a officer called PDO, Panchayat Development Officer. He is recruited exclusively for the Panchayat. So there is an argument, suggestion by the committee that why don't Karnataka should go for a separate service for Panchayat? We have in Rajasthan this kind of thing, but it's not so successful. But there is a demand that we need to create a separate service for Panchayats. We have also, as I mentioned earlier, your State Finance Commission. Section 261. We have one more interesting institution in Karnataka. It's called Grievances Redressal Authority. So it's like Ombudsman Kerala. We have this district level, but all district do not have now right now. Some only in few districts this authority is constructed. I think they are actually, if you, for instance, if you have any problems with the Narega, Swachh Bharat, like that, you can complain to this grievances, they will solve it. We have State Election Commission, and more importantly, all the panchayats, they must prepare development plans as per the plan. We also have a kind of decentralized planning for panchayats. That's one. And panchayats should prepare vision plan. We have a Taluk Planning and Development Committee. We have District Planning Committee, Section 3. We have State Panchayat, which is very important. The Chief Minister is head of this council, but hardly this council is constituted. Meeting is called. In my knowledge, for the last 3-4 years, even during BJP government, even present government also, such meetings are not properly held. They should hold once in a year, but they don't hold meetings. There one more there, Karnataka State Decentralized Planning and Development Committee. It is functional, but not so very powerful in terms of it. This is actually in brief. I am putting Karnataka's picture. Is a lot of available. It's available about Panchayat Raj. If someone interested, already I think heard from one person already done district Jilla Panchayat work in Jilla Gulbarga like that. So anybody can do research on this Jilla Panchayati, Taluk Panchayati, Gram Panchayati, especially on their planning process, decentralized planning process, their structural aspects, functional aspects, then the working of district planning committees, working of panchayats. You can take a case study. You can do very good studies on panchayat. Lot of empirical studies are there in Karnataka also. I guided quite a few students on these empirical aspects. But it's good to know how these institutions are working after the creation of seventh government. That is a very potential research area for the teachers, political science, public administration to work on. Even economics people also can work on this. Now I come to the very important aspect of this thing. So someone rise in the morning, the autonomy of these things. We have one devolution index in holiday level. It has been going on since 2006 actually. It was stopped after 2016. Again, the study was done by V.N. Alok from Indian Institute of Population, New Delhi. It's a new study, status of devolution to panchayats in states. Actually. A similar study I did for Karnataka during after COVID actually, which I submitted to government of Karnataka. I did for the state itself, the devolution performance index for the 40 gram panchayats. I did a study. Again, similarly, this study was done at the all India level. So they use 6 dimensions, very important. So if you want to understand the functioning of panchayats at the national, state level or local level, these 3 very important dimensions they suggest. One is framework. The framework talk about the constitutional holding of elections once in 5 years, constitutional district planning committees like that. So within the act, whether the concerned panchayats state governments have done or not, that the framework is. The second functions, I told you 29 functions, whether the concerned state, have devolved all the 29 functions to panchayats or not. You can see that is a criteria for analysis. Third, finances. So whether the state government constituted state finance commission, if it is constituted, how many recommendations have been accepted or not accepted, or the status of panchayats finance commission. The fourth is accountability. That is through social auditing. I mentioned accountability very important. Whether the state done any efforts. Now we have e-governance. That is called electronic governance. In Karnataka, we have this Panchatantra 1 and 2 softwares are there. So through that, nowadays they evaluate the functioning of panchayats in Karnataka. The fifth one is functionaries. That is staff of the staff is very important. Whether staff, their own staff or on deputation, what are their performance or like that. The sixth one, capacity building, that's training. So whether state government has held training programs for elected members, adhikshas, upadhyakshas, even for officials on the different aspects of governance. Using these 6 dimensions, B.N. Alok is a good friend of me. Yesterday also I was talking to him for some other issues then. So he brought out all India report. So that gives a status of devolution that is among the states based on these 6 dimensions. So I'll just give the idea of some 10 states are there. You can see now, for the first time in the devolution index, Karnataka is the first state in the country in terms of devolution, given powers to panchayats. That is only 72.23%. Kerala, which used to be always leading state for the last 15-20 years in devolution index, this year it has become 70.5, second place, 70.5 ranking status. Tamil Nadu, followed by Tamil Nadu, it has got 68.38%. Then followed by Maharashtra, 61.44%. Uttar Pradesh, 60.07%. Gujarat, 58.26%. Rajasthan, 56.67%. West Bengal, 56.52%. Telangana, 55.110%. And Andhra Pradesh, 54. This is a ranking, that is devolution ranking. I think for the first time, Karnataka is the first state in the country to devolve this function, that is 3 Fs, funds, functionaries, functions. Earlier, Kerala used to be always first, Karnataka was second or third in the top list. So based on this 6 dimensions, the study is done. Now it is, when Karnataka is projecting it very strongly. Even other day, our Priyanka Kargeji also brought out a booklet on this Karnataka, the first state in the country in developing panchayats. But one cannot be very satisfactory because it is only 72%. Still, there is a lot of way to go ahead to achieve that 80%, 90%. But it gives a status, and also if somebody wants to study that, they can usually these dimensions. Why these some constraints I come to that. One is lack of adequate devolution, as I mentioned. There is excessive control by bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is even today dominant one. The funds are always tied; they are not untied. They have been come with a lot of guidelines, this and all, and overall dependency on government funding. As I mentioned, someone mentioned, panchayat depend heavily on the called dependence syndrome, on state and area government, and reluctant to use fiscal powers like levying taxes. They cannot use powers levy because people do not cooperate sometimes. And states of Gram Sabhas, they are very weak in functioning. And capacity building need to be taken very seriously. As of now, it's given once in a time. When when they get elected, they will have training. Afterwards, no training for them. We suggested for once in 2 years, they should be given some refresher courses, especially in the alliance building, negotiation, lobbying, and networking, and strengthening Gram Sabhas like in PISA, I mentioned. We encourage members to form associations. It's a very weak point of decentralized governance. Many the members, they don't have association, they don't have district level association, taluk level. Only recently Karnataka started with the state level association of panchayat members. We do not have associations of Jilla Parishad, Jilla Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat. Inclusive governance through the participation of people and members, that is through CST, they should be given more space to, as someone mentioned about this proxy leadership. Women should be given more space to decision making. They should avoid this other members to come. Then also parallel bodies. With panchayats, we have a lot of problems. Other bodies also coming up without the knowledge of panchayats to avoid. So there is need to give rotation. As of rotation only for once in 5 years. We correct in Tamil Nadu, you have two-tier system of two rotation. That means a member who represents scheduled caste constituency will have 10 years of term. He can recontest. But as of now, he cannot recontest because that spot will be given to other community in the next election. So we recommended 2 terms and a full 5-year term. That is 10 years. Because through the 10 years, he can easily develop a constituency here. There is synergy between PRIs and civil society organization. They need to have introduce citizen report and Gram Sabha. So you should know how panchayats are functioning. We should have a citizen report card which is happening with the urban areas. Similarly, we want for rural areas. I use this for state government study, 10 dimensions. I used framework, functions, finances, functionaries, decentralized planning, governance, participation, transparency and accountability, capacity building, and quality life. Ultimately, all our efforts should improve this 10 point, that's quality of life, how people are empowered, whether they get proper water, with the toilet facility, hospital facility. That is quality of life tell you the above 9 indicators. So I did a study for Karnataka government. It is accepted. They are bringing some, they are trying to implement some of our recommendations. That is again, it is a will of the state government to accept or we accept it, but implementation part we don't know. So I end with this. I given some references. You can see this. The important people: Sivanna, Retd, Smith, PC. So I end with this statement of Gandhiji: the greater the power of the panchayats, the better for the people. It's very important. I think the panchayats, if you give more powers to panchayats, I think that will better the welfare of the people. With that, I stop now. Again, I'll get back to your questions, comments. Thank you very much. Also, I wish you all the best in your careers. If somebody is